All right, welcome to the German Economic Report. This is my website that I've created for my reports on the German economy. As you can tell by the name, handful of panels here on the introductory page, the home page. So you move into resources. So resources covers land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurability. Germany is an extremely vast country, being one of the largest in the entire European Union. They are massive natural producers of lumber. They have natural gas deposits within the country, as well as uranium that can be found in the country, which allows for pretty much in-house um, provisions for making nuclear arms, which is not exactly a great thing, but still something that is necessary to be a world power. Their labor force, 53% of the force, or of the country, I should say, works within the labor force, and that is just around 45 million people, which is just insane to think about. The most common jobs in Germany includes data scientists, product managers, and software developers, as well as automobile production. Their unemployment rate sits at 7.2%, with 7.9% being men and 6.4% being women within that total. The average German citizen will go all the way through all their schooling, including university. Their capital, a lot of their exports include automotive parts, aircraft, um, packaged medications, and industrial machinery, which is extremely useful for them in country. They have quick access to domestic and international markets. They also utilize various public transports that spans all the way across, including the Autobahn, the S-Bahn, and the U-Bahn. Their entrepreneurial ability, they are their heritage ranking is 14th out of 45 countries in Europe with a 73.5%, just about 74% approval rating. As we move on now, the goals. So the goals of Germany, their inflation, their unemployment, their GDP per capita, and GDP growth. So the inflation rate in 2018 was 1.7, and all of these statistics should be pre-2020 because of the pandemic. Their inflation rate in 2018 was 1.7%, which is much lower actually than one of the other um, leaders in the European Union, which is the United Kingdom, who had 2.4% as their inflation rate. In 2019, their inflation rate in Germany actually went down, which is amazing, as the average world inflation rate was 2.5% in 2018, 2.19% in 2019. Germany should not have to really worry about inflation, except for possible outcomes from the 2021 flooding. Their unemployment, phenomenal, 3.38% in 2018. 2019 saw actually another dip, 3.14%, which is awesome. Their global the global unemployment was 7%, just overall 7% of the entire world was unemployed, which is insane to think about. But they contributed heavily into that with having a low unemployment rate, and they were much lower than all other European Union countries. Their GDP is extremely high, nearly 4 trillion, which is phenomenal. They had they had slightly lower GDP in 2019 in comparison to 2018. However, they still soared above most other countries in their area. Per capita GDP, just around 50,000, and the US sits around 63,000. US dollars, but that's simply just because the US is much larger. GDP growth, um, they were growing phenomenally until COVID hit, which was a big, big problem for all countries. And move into policies. So the fiscal policy, the German fiscal policy prior to the newest government becoming involved was to go on a debt break, which is essentially super low government spending, focusing on rebuilding the economy, focusing on making up that debt. However, right now, because of COVID, the government is spending more than usual, which in 2023 they will be dropping the COVID-19 relief and going back to the debt break, which would be a very interesting thing to see if they can make up a decent chunk of it. Their fiscal policy effects. So, the effects of their actual policies. Price levels will be higher at the moment just because of how much spending is going into COVID-19. However, in 2023, price levels should be down, inflation should be down as government spending will be extremely low, so they're not having to make up for money lost with taxation, and that will allow demand to be higher because people are making more money now, less taxation, more money. Their monetary policy focuses on stability through and through. The effects of their monetary policy, citizens don't have to worry about politicians screwing up and messing up the value of their dollar with inflation or anything like that. I mean, slight inflation right now just because of natural effects, but their policy itself doesn't mess up anything. And finally, trade. So their top trade partners was China, as is in most cases with almost all world powers, it's China. Um, China was in the top three of both imports and exports of Germany, which is not a surprise. Um, they are connected by land, no need to cross with the ocean. Trains can handle it, planes can handle it, cars, trucks, whatever. They are economically similar as they are in the top four in global GDP. Their trade agreements, one of the big ones, is the EU Vietnam trade agreement, free trade agreement, which reduces tariffs. It liberalizes 65% of import duties on the EU to Vietnam at entry into force. This will be taking place over a 10-year period. And the benefits of these trade agreements, as I said before, allowing for expansion in the Southeast Asia region, which has been a very iffy area because of all the conflicts in the past 2 centuries. Our top imports and exports, they, on both sides of the ball, import and export automobiles. And they imported nearly $70 billion in automobiles in 2021. And their trade patterns, they're extremely positive interrelation with their advantages and disadvantages as they lead in as manufacturers of everything that comes out of their country. They're the leaders in that in all regards. So that concludes the exploration of my website. Thank you for watching.